What a crazy past 3 weeks. I missed the last 3 weeks of doing my weekly reflections because I just moved house to New Plymouth, had family Christmas and stuff like that. It's been insane, but I definitely wanted to take the time to reflect on the last 3 weeks of the year because they have been the most impactful, really. I just need to take my Invisalign out. I need to do this every week, or I feel like my life is rushing ahead past me, and I can't. It just makes me stressed out. So, this is going to ground me. This is what I need to do to ground myself right now. Um, just going through all the areas of my life that I've been focusing on, seeing my achievements throughout this, and using the special framework to figure out what I've done for the last 3 weeks. And I guess give myself credit for all the things that I've achieved and see how I feel about the distribution within special. If you're joining for the first time, special is a framework for understanding, organizing, and optimizing every area of your life. And so it's under the philosophy of life game design, where most productivity systems are catered towards structuring your life like a corporate business. But life is so much more like a game than it is a business. But the problem, let me tell you, let me really tell you, the biggest problem I have with life gamification is that it's just so fucking cringe. All the elements they use of gamification are not thought out. They're low order concept thinking, and the fact that they take a game element, they think it will apply to life one to one, they put that game element into life, and it doesn't serve any purpose. This is because they think that you need to force life to be a game by adding things like XP leveling systems and algorithms and all this boring, cringy shit. But life is already a game. We just need to design it like one. And the biggest difficulty that I have had with life in general is understanding life itself, understanding all the areas within life, how they correlate to each other, what it means if I put so much time into one area and sacrificing time in another, and understanding the trade off you're going to have, because your time is the most crucial limited resource you have. And so you only have a limited amount of time to put all into all of these categories. And depending on how you put them into these categories, they will produce different results. And particularly in terms of fulfillment. So Special started off as a system to help. It started off as a system to help you understand the areas of life, but also organize them into databases. And then it merged into more of a framework to find fulfillment, because all of these different areas of life are also the areas which you can find fulfillment. And they are areas, especially since there's a lot, there's 8. There are areas where they are completely ignored in systems of productivity, because being productive is not about enjoyment, activities, and friends. Being productive is not about creative expressions that you won't get paid for. Being productive is not learning about things that you're intrinsically interested in that won't give you any return. And that's the biggest gripe I have with traditional productivity systems, because they're designed like structuring your life like a corporate business instead of a game where you have things that you don't have to do. And those things that you don't have to do are also fulfilling and are also a part of your life. So, yeah, this is how I organize all of the information in my life through projects, tasks, and notes. And also how I, understand the areas of life within them. So I literally put everything within my life in this system. And so I don't have to open up 5 different apps to see how my life is going. And I can see them from a bird's eye view and understand the trade off I make, really. I understand the trade off I make between all of these different areas. And you'll see in my posts on my Instagram or my blog the nuance between the elevating areas of life and the essential areas of life. But for now, I just want to go through and really dive deep into what I've done for the last 3 weeks because man, if I don't do this every week, it feels like holy shit, there's so many thoughts in my head. I just need to like release them. So let's go through it. Let's go through it. The first thing, massive thing, moved to a new house in New Plymouth. I had in my personal life game design template, I had the actual pictures of my house, but then I figured, oh my god, someone could literally find my house if they searched that. So I took that off. Wise decision, I believe. Anyways, yeah, I don't mind if they know I'm in New Plymouth because I'd love to connect with people who are here. Uh, but yeah, we're living in Auckland. This is in New Zealand, and it's a 5-hour drive down. And man, we've had to move so much stuff. It was seriously a nightmare. It was seriously a nightmare, but we got through it. I had a living room like this size over here, and it's not the actual living room, but it was a living room about this size, and the whole thing was just covered in boxes. The whole house was just covered in boxes everywhere, and it took us about 4 or 5 days to unpack everything. And me, my mom, and my dad were all arguing with each other the whole time because because it was stressful. Because it was stressful, but they were light arguments. They were light arguments, and it's just how it is. It's just how it is. Everyone's tired, everyone's stressed out. And that's something you can't really help. But now that we're settled in, it's so amazing. I guess I can show you this photo of the balcony out here. We have this balcony, and we just got a dining set for it. And we've been pretty much eating outside, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as much as we can if it's not raining. And it's just the best thing because all these trees are in the background, and you hear the birds, and it just literally calms you down. This place is so amazing. I slightly understood that I wasn't much of a city person when I went from Auckland to Tokyo when I was in high school, because I got the culture shock of just being around so many people. And I guess the shock was that you almost feel like you don't matter in a way because there's so I couldn't wrap my head around how many people there were, and I just wanted to immerse myself in nature instead of the concrete jungle. I did enjoy touring around it, but for living there, I don't think I could do it. I am going there next year with my friends, but luckily just for a holiday. Um, so yeah, the house move took everything. Took everything. So for the last 2 weeks, that's pretty much why I haven't been doing my reflections because I feel I wanted to give all the time to making sure the house is sweet before I went back into the creative endeavor. And then straight after that, it was on to just celebrating Christmas, chilling out, and being fully present, and trying not to feel guilty about it, even though I'm someone who wants to be as productive as possible because the people who I look up to are productive as possible. But again, it's the trap of structuring your life like a corporate business, where the only metric you have to say whether your life is good or not is metrics of productivity, instead of metrics of, do you have peace of mind? Are you fulfilled from day to day? Like you would have in a game where you're shown all of your achievements. You're shown the proof of all the things that you've worked up to. And you actually enjoy the process of playing the game. You don't want to finish it because you actually enjoy the process of it. So, yeah, this is my, I guess, journey of trying to enjoy the process more and figuring out what makes me enjoy the process more. And seeing my life, literally everything in my life, all in one, at least helps me do that without having to see my Instagram feed for how fun my life has been. And I don't think anyone would literally cross-reference their Instagram feed to something like their work project manager to see the balance between those two aspects. Anyways, as soon as I got done with that, I've got into yoga recently, and I was previously really embarrassed about it because I guess as a bodybuilder, yoga just sounds like the stupidest thing ever. But it's the one thing that literally when I'm done with it, I feel high as a kite. Just totally relaxed to an insane depth. And so it really helped, especially after doing all of that stuff. But then after that, I still had some more unpacking to do. And I think the day after, where I have over here, it says laughing till I can't breathe with mum. I can't remember specifically what it was, but my mum was doing something and it cracked me up. And I could not stop laughing. I could not stop laughing and I could not breathe. Like, it was almost painful. And that was literally the first time the first time I've done that, probably in the whole year. And that was just realizing that it was massive. And so, yeah, the following week, I finally got time to set up my own room after sorting out the living room, the garage, the kitchen, outside, all those spaces. I set up my room, did all my cable management and stuff, got a really sick setup with the PC and everything. You pretty much see it here, but the same within this photo here. And then after that, we were able to chill out a bit more. And what happened is, my dad's a surfer. I grew up in Auckland going to Piha Beach, surfing there, and I hated it because Piha is, I don't think it would be wrong to say, one of the hardest spots to learn how to surf in the world. Wonder if I can quote my dad on that. But yeah, it's rough in Piha. And when we went out to the beach in New Plymouth, a place called Wayzie's, man, it is beautiful. It is so beautiful. So I don't have the picture of it here, but at that beach, obviously you have a nice beach, a nice expansive beach. But we're in New Plymouth, so we have Mount Taranaki, and in Mount Taranaki, you can see it from the beach. So you're out at the back of the waves, looking back to the shore, and you see this massive, majestic mountain. And you're just like chilling out on your surfboard, and you catch a wave, and you're looking at the mountain, and you're looking at the view while you're catching the wave, and it's insane. It's insane. It's the mix of the adrenaline rush, the almost immersion meditation of being in the water and being in nature. And I guess just being absolutely fully present, because you have to be when you're in the water, and you have to be when you're riding the wave. So yeah, it's been the first time in around 11 years, because I kind of quit when I was, I'm 26 now, so I must have quit when I was like 15, 16. And yeah, I just never imagined that I could get so much joy from it. And so we went out, and my dad gifted me a wetsuit, which is really nice. And I'm glad that it was a good investment, because I was afraid that he was going to buy me it and I wouldn't like it. But it just captivated me. So I think it's going to be a routine. I've been dying to go like every morning now, just because, yeah, it's something about it. It's just amazing. Can't describe it. And then it got towards Christmas, and I got a early Christmas present of houseplants, because my parents are awesome. So I got some houseplants from out of 10. I also got my dad a houseplant as well, Monstera. And yeah, we were just getting all the gifts for Christmas, preparing. That was on December 22nd. And yeah, so at this point, we've pretty much unpacked the boxes, all the cleaning's done, and we're just chilling out and really enjoying the house now. And yeah, we're just like watching movies together. I made a falafel roast with a pea and spinach dressing. I'm a chef. I used to work at one of the busiest restaurants in Auckland, and it's been such a long time since I'm no longer working as a chef, and it's been such a long time since I actually put so much time and effort into a dish, because at the moment I just do meal prep all the time. And so it really got me in a flow state where I wanted to cook a meal for my parents, kind of celebrate all the work we did together. And they loved it so much. And it kind of reminded me how much joy I get from making something that people enjoy. Whether it's whatever it is, like literally whatever it is. If I made something that people enjoy, it's literally like one of the peak of fulfillment for me. And the way that I understand this, because I struggle to understand things without a framework, is that I made a framework for it. It's called the Fulfillment Matrix. The Fulfillment Matrix explains the elements of fulfillment and then creates a tier list based on those elements. And so the elements of fulfillment are flow, growth, service, and flow, novelty, connection. And they're different between different areas of life, because being productive is about growth, but experiencing life is more about novelty. And in the same way, being productive is about service, but when it comes to the experience of life, like meeting a new person, having a deeper connection with yourself, and connecting with people through creative arts and things like that, it's completely different to a service you would give. And in the multipliers of fulfillment are time, effort, and emotion. So think the time you put into a task, the time you put into a project that you have, will drastically increase how fulfilled you are once you complete it. And again, with the effort, it's the same thing. And the emotion is really the story that's wrapped around that event. So for me, the easiest way for me to describe it is cooking. And I'll show you the tier list so it's easier to understand. At the bottom of fulfillment, it's not necessarily the bottom, because this is the baseline of fulfillment. This is the day-to-day, which is very intensely fulfilling if you are truly in a flow state. And so flow is the concept from Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I think if you are anything into self-development, you'll probably know about it, but it's the state where you no longer think about what you're doing and you're completely immersed in the task, and you lose your sense of time, and all your focus is on that task. I get it when I surf, I get it at the gym, I get it when I'm really focused on cooking. And so flow is the day-to-day level of fulfillment that we can all get. Level 2, or I guess level 2, I don't know if it's level 2, I just put the silver medal emoji there. The next level of fulfillment is growth or novelty, depending on whether it's a hustle thing or an experience of life thing. And so over here, growth and novelty, it's about just that. I don't know how to explain it more plainly than that. When you do something that makes you grow, going to the gym, lifting heavier weights at the gym, making PRs in running or whatever, that in itself is a much more fulfilling experience than just the baseline state of flow. And the same with novelty. When you find a new piece of content that you love, when you go to a new place that you love, it's the novelty of that experience that is more fulfilling. The next tier of fulfillment is service and connection, where you've already grown and your growth goes into service. So service means that basically you're helping someone, and connection is the same thing. You're connecting with someone. So it's above yourself. And I think that's like what I would call the quote-unquote game engine of life, where we're literally evolutionarily programmed to find more joy out of helping other people than ourselves. It's just this motif and this fact of life that has popped up all the time when I've listened to podcasts, when I've read books. I don't know how to explain it deeper, but it's just literally a fact of life that the easiest way to be happier in yourself is to give to someone else. The way I square this circle is thinking, if I had $20 and I spent $20 on myself, the level of fulfillment would be, yeah, probably around either here or here. But if I use that $20 to give to someone else, selfishly, it's extremely more fulfilling than if I would use that $20 on myself. And there's probably a lot of evolutionary frameworks and concepts to explain it that I don't have at the top of my head. But it is, again, like I said, a motif that I have seen time and time again with all the podcasts and books that I read. And so the final tier of fulfillment is the mix of both. And so when you have the mix of both, it's when you combine your growth or novelty with your service or connection. So for me, again, with chefing, it was the growth of something like creating a new dish. And from that dish, it serves someone and makes their life better. I would say the times where I've had both growth and service or novelty and connection have been the most fulfilling memories ever. But they can be overlapping because of the multipliers. So let's say you put a lot of time, effort, and emotion into a connection or into service where you didn't necessarily grow yourself. This may outrank the top tier with those multipliers. So I guess that's just something to keep in mind if you feel like there's a memory where you didn't grow yourself, but you helped someone else. Or the opposite way, you grew yourself, that was a more deeply fulfilling memory than serving someone. It would be because of the multipliers, which I had to add once I figured that dynamic. Anyways, I went through all that just to say, basically, yeah, that connection that I had with my dad from the surfing has been like up there. The growth for me coming back to it, and the connection I have with my dad, like I dropped in on a wave with him, and it was the coolest thing. I never imagined that would happen at all. And so yeah, and obviously with Christmas, that's a very massive thing of the growth and connection dynamic. And so yeah, that's what happened when we finally got the settling done. We were just able to chill. And so in that time, after I made dinner with my parents, I started the blogcast. So the blogcast is my way of, I guess, writing a blog, but also wanting to make a podcast from it. I did it from like an almost efficiency standpoint, where I really like writing and articulating my thoughts, but I don't want to freeform those thoughts when I talk about them on a podcast. So the way I've done it is that I will read my blog post that I've done, and whenever I have something in my head that I want to give deeper nuance to, I'll switch the camera just to my face and just talk off the top of my head. So it's a mixture of a podcast and a blog. And yeah, that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I did my first one just the other day on the overview of this whole concept of life game design, the spatial framework, and why I'm choosing to structure my life like a game instead of like a corporate business. So yeah, I'll be doing those blogcasts very frequently. I aim to do one a week now. And I wanted to get ahead of that. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution for me, but I wanted to get ahead of it, so I pushed to do it just this week. Or was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. So I've got to get another one done, which is definitely going to be on... It's definitely going to be on reflecting on the year, because after this reflection of the last 3 weeks, I'm going to be doing a video on how I reflect my whole year with the special system, with the distribution of everything I've done within here, using that system. I just need to adjust this a bit, because that was bugging me. Alright. what did we do after that? I finished reading Murtagh from Christopher Paolini. It's his latest release. This is from the Aragon series, and it's a series that I read when I was in intermediate school, and I loved it so much. I think Aragon was one of the first most biggest books I ever read, and I was in a time where I was like really into, I guess, fantasy novels, and it got me into reading in general. And yeah, just the story of the adversity they go through, the depth of the characters and things like that. I just enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed the story so much, especially with Murtagh getting his kind of redemption arc. It was just lovely. And then yeah, after that it was the family Christmas holiday. So my sister has been living in London the whole time, and she recently came back with her partner Fola. Um, and yeah, we made a massive Christmas lunch together up here, eating out on the deck. It was super nice. I made like a whole menu, pretty much an Asian menu. We had mee goreng, we had summer rolls. I did some roast potatoes. We had sausages. So it was like Asian English kind of thing. Um, and yeah, just the process of cooking together, eating together, bickering, laughing, all that stuff. It was super nice. It was super nice and wholesome. And then that night we just chilled out after eating, getting bloated. And yeah, we just watched some movies, and an epic one was The Creator. I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've actually watched a movie that actually kind of captivated me, and I was really not expecting it. The Creator by Gareth Edwards was absolutely amazing, and the concept is that um, it's it's a semi-apocalypse, almost apocalyptic event where AI would have the power to turn against mankind. And yeah, I guess just the plot and everything was really interesting. And then after that, again, another day for movies, another few days for movies, really. We just like lounged around, chilled out with each other, and watched movies all day, which is really what we like to do during Christmas, to be honest. We also did some active stuff, but for the main part, like on the Christmas day, it's just eating, and watching movies. That's what I remember from childhood, and that's that's exactly what I wanted, and it was awesome. And we watched The Matrix for the first time. I never actually fully watched The Matrix. I know of the memes, I know of the clips from The Matrix, but I never actually fully watched it. And so it was the first time, and I had no idea how much of an insane concept, I guess seeing it fully fleshed out, The Matrix was back in the time it was released in 1999. And it just amazed me. It just amazed me. The second one was, yeah, it was alright, but definitely the first installment, that was so sick. That was absolutely insane. And then yeah, because the first time I went surfing, that was without my sister and her partner. We went for a family surfing day, where it was all of us. And yeah, my sister Charlie got some waves, Vola got some waves, her partner, and yeah, we all had a mean time. We all had a mean time. It was epic. Follow was his first time uh, going into surfing, and yeah, he enjoyed it. He struggled a bit. He was getting screwed up a bit, and he was a bit sick, but he powered through. He powered through and had a good time. After that, we went to a lake around New Plymouth. Honestly, I have to explore this place so much because there is such an abundance of nature hikes around here, around Mount Taranaki, and yeah, just around the grasslands and everything that we have. So one of the ones I've been eyeing up for a while is Lake. It's called Lake called Mangamaho, and I wanted to choose something that would have been easy because Fala got sick that day, and my parents don't like hiking as much as I do. Uh, so yeah, it was a good spot because I think it was about 10 minutes just to get to the view from there, and it was super nice. And I was really surprised that my mom enjoyed it so much. She wants to go again. Um, So yeah, that was like coming towards the end of this week. I think that was just the other day. That was 2 days ago. Yeah. And so I think that same day, yeah, as soon as we got back, everyone was pretty tired and conked out. So I got straight to it and I was like, I'm going to make this podcast. And it took me so long because it's the first time I've ever done a format like that before, where I read off my blog post and I just went off the top of my head and doing that and all that good stuff. And yeah, I guess it was it was a big challenge, but I'm really glad that I know I can do it now. I know I can do it and I know I want to continue doing it. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So it's definitely gonna be more of those. So watch out for that. And then the last day that Follow and Jala were here, it was a bit of a rush, but uh, I have a theme of end of year podcasts. This is something I'm going to do tomorrow for myself, but I've been doing a lot with my friends where I take them through this whole special system and I get them to rank their achievements in all the areas of life. Let me see if I can sneak peek one of them for you. Check that out. Because I know since I started using the system, it was hard for me to manage one, all the areas of my life, but also give myself credit for all the stuff I've done this year. And that's the kind of running theme that I've seen with my friends, is that my friends just don't give themselves credit for all the insane amount of things they've done. So this was his. So I think there's around 50 something topics here. My one over here is with the pictures and stuff because I went through the effort of doing that. But for Follett, it was just the words. So one of them, his trip to Nigeria and experience, trip to New Zealand, which is what he's got here, doing running yoga, doing meditation, in relationships, attachment, it's developing family relationships and intelligence, it's graduating from an Oxford executive program, all the stuff he's got. But when I asked him initially, he said that he had about 8 things he'd done this year that he was really proud of. And honestly, it continues to be like kind of sad when I see someone who has done so much, who is so accomplished, not being given a system to understand one, the areas of life, but also all the achievements within all those different areas. Because what we did is that I got him to rank all of his achievements. So basically, I asked him for the list. We expanded the list together when I asked him more specific things about the areas of life, and kind of encouraging him to not be so hard on himself and be like, dude, you've actually done so much this year. And after that, I leave him to rank it by himself without me watching. And then we discuss it in a podcast format. And it was insane. It was insane to just talk about the nuance and the depth of all of these things that happened, because we actually only stayed in these 5 and we didn't really have much time to go through the rest. Because it was around 2 hours and we had to go. So yeah, this is a format that I plan to do with literally anyone who wants to do it. I'm at the very start, I will say. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I am in the very, very infancy of starting out the system of life game design. And I've reached out to a lot of people who are in like the life gamification space, and I've literally been snobbed so hard, or like ghosted so hard in it, and I'm just like, wow, why does no one want to talk about this? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but this end of year podcast format that I've done with my friends who are kind enough to do it with me, it's just taught me so much about them, taught me so much about all of the areas of their life. And it's taught me so much about what they value within those different areas and all of their experiences. Because I guess if you were to go through a template you would find online about a yearly reflection, they would just be like, okay, how productive were you? How many books did you read? Did you achieve the goals that you set for yourself? The first thing that me and Fola talked about, I'll show you here, is Bear. This is a Netflix series, Bear, that he watched. I haven't watched it myself, but it's about I'll zoom in so you can see. Oof. It's a Netflix series about a Michelin star chef who takes over his family's sandwich shop or something like that. And the lesson he got from that movie itself was just a lesson he learned in many other books, but in the format of that movie, it was just so impactful to him. And I was just thinking in my head, any other life management system, any productivity system would never, ever encourage you to put a movie in one of the things that you kind of like achieved this year. And I just think that's so sad. Again, because we're encouraged to format our lives like a corporate business. I will say it over and over again. Life is not a fucking corporate business. It is so much more like a game. So we need to design it like one. We need to give ourselves the credit for all the things we do, especially in the areas that aren't just about productivity. And so yeah, after that, honestly, I can't rank these end of year podcasts because they have all been so fun. I've done one with my friend Derek, Eden, and Lachlan, and I plan to do more with my friends and try to expand that as much as I can, because I want to kind of give the gift of this to as many people as possible, because I know how much it's helped them by giving them the surprise of like, oh my god, I've actually done so much this year, instead of thinking, oh, I haven't been very productive actually. And kind of having that guilt, self-development guilt, which I know myself and a lot of people probably have, especially in this Christmas period. In this Christmas period where they probably think, oh, I could have done more. But again, it's because they're not giving themselves credit. And so, yeah, at the moment, the last thing to tick off is literally this last live stream of the year. I will continue to do this next year because, selfishly for me, it probably doesn't help my channel one bit, but for me, it helps me so much. And I guess the fact that I have I could potentially have an audience that I'm able to talk to, kind of just helps me articulate what's going on in my head and just let it go. Because originally I would do this with my boys, with the Habit Tracking Kings group, Joseph and Derek, my two closest friends. And the thing is, everyone's busy, so it can't always happen. So I've had to do it for myself because I realized how much I got out of it from doing it with them, but I needed a format to do it myself. And when I kind of just sat down to do it myself without having the live stream of it, I just didn't end up doing it. So I made the commitment to do the live streams, and I've done I almost done one every single week since I made that commitment, apart from the last 3 weeks. But this is making up for it. I swear. But yeah, I've just seen how much of an impact it's had on me. So this is the page where I've gone through all of those. I can see this was week 49, week 48, down and down and down, where I've listed all the stuff that I've done throughout and kind of journaled on them over here. And every week it's because at the start of the week, you kind of set these goals for yourself. And by the end of the week, maybe everything's rushed past you so fast. And it's hard to keep up. So I feel like, well, the format that I go through is that we have an aim. So we have the alignment, the improvement, and the milestones. And that aim is like a cycle. So your alignment is setting the intention for what you want to do this week or this month or this year. And then the improvements are, what are the small things, small tasks that you're going to break this down into. And then the milestones are like the projects that you have. So yeah, it's just about breaking it down. And then once you've reached those milestones, then you actually need to realign again. You need to get back in shape. How could I analogize this? I would think of something like from my chefing career, sharpening my knife. It's a ritual to sharpen your knife every time you finish with a cutting session. So if I'm going to cut a whole bunch of vegetables before it, every single amazing chef that I've worked with has taught me that every time before you are about to cut with your knife, you hone your blade with a tank. With a tank. What am I saying? With a steel. You hone your blade with a steel, and then as soon as you've finished doing all your work, then you hone it again and put it away. And that principle, I feel, is exactly the same with going through the effort of completing all these things during the week, planning it out, going through the effort of completing these things, and then reflecting, and then realigning over again. Because I tried to do this once a month, and once a month just the amount of fluctuation that you have within 1 week itself within your life in all areas of life is just so turbulent that you cannot possibly be fully aligned with what you set out to do once a month. So that's really been why I've pushed myself to do this every week, and I've kind of held myself accountable by saying I'm going to do live streams of it, because I would have missed a lot of these sessions if I didn't. So I think I have a ranking system for my achievements that I'll be doing a bit later on, but these weekly reflections have been one of the biggest impacts of my year, and there's a lot. I will give you a sneak peek at what my year has looked like in the special system, in the system that I use to organize it. So this is what the actual template looks like of the homepage, and the first thing you see is the areas of life, but then after that you've got menus here, but the most important thing is your achievements, and these are your most recent achievements. And I think literally every other Notion template that I have seen, that I have used, will not show you the things that you've recently achieved, because again, they want you to be more productive, and they think this is just clutter. That's the thing. So let's go to year season views this year, and I've got it in my projects. And out of these, this is everything I've done this year in all these different categories of life. And I will be going through this in the podcast format that I've been doing with my friends, but I guess I'll just be doing it solo. And yeah, just reflect on all the stuff that I've done. And honestly, like, I feel like the things that are listed here are like 2 years ago. I can barely remember all this stuff because it felt like so long ago. But yeah, there's a lot to go through. Obviously, intuitively, it's the areas of life that these fall into get ranked. Oh my god, I wasn't sharing that. Okay. The areas of life that are listed here, they kind of intuitively create a way for you to reflect on the year, instead of asking the question of what are some relationships you deepened with yourself? What are some things you learned this year that's within intelligence? What are some experiences you had this year that's already within here? So I don't have to like manually ask myself these questions, basically. But the thing that I do have to do is rank my achievements. So I made it in like a typical material grading system where it's like diamond, gold, silver, bronze. And so, man, there's a lot. 130 in bronze, 24 silver, 21 gold, 37 diamond. And when I say achievements, it's whatever is meaningful to you, literally. So it could be a quote that has insanely impacted you in whatever way. in that I would put that under something like Life Force, where that quote has helped you reflect on something or whatever, or maybe that quote has helped you push through a barrier you had in any other area of life. Again, it's completely up to you how you kind of interpret this. But yeah, I'll be going through first the distribution like I did with my friends for all of the things that I've done, and then yeah, going through the rankings of these things. And man, it's just so nice to see this kind of laid out, to see everything I've done this year within every area of life. Holy crap. But yeah, in terms of that, I had a catch up with my friend Thomas, who I met online, who I told him about this whole system of doing the interview podcast, of doing these reflections, and he said he'd be pretty keen to do the same. So I hope he gets as much out of it as I have, as Fowler has, Derek, and soon to be Joseph and Lachlan. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it because I love finding out about what has fulfilled people, what they consider achievements, and just seeing how it plays into the system of special. So honestly, if you're watching this and you'd like to do that exercise with me, I would absolutely love to do that with you. So go to the link in the description and hit me up on Instagram. Just send me a message that you watched the video or something, and I'll be like, yo, you keen to do it? Let's do it, kind of thing. And I guess to wrap up, the last thing, just today, I finished the Jujutsu Kaisen Shibuya Incident arc. And I'm so fucking confused. The last episode, I had no idea what was going on. Maybe I'm not following along well, but someone's got to explain it to me. Someone has to explain it to me. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But it was cool. It was cool to see it come to an end. But to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the episode, I guess because I was confused. But all the other stuff leading up to it, the fight with Sukuna, and that like heavenly thing, whatever. All the mini fights within that arc were absolutely insane, and I loved it so much. But yeah, that's me wrapping up this reflection. Usually I go through all of these, but since it's a whole 3 weeks, I'll let that go. But one thing I will do is, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for literally the whole year I've had. I'm grateful for the extremely basic things. The extremely basic things of life. One thing in particular is I have been for a run in the morning for the last 2 weeks straight, and that's not something that I do for enjoyment. I now do it because I feel like I can't function without doing it. And 2 years ago, I think I would have never imagined waking up and running first thing in the morning. Never imagined in my wildest dreams that would be something that I would have to do every day. But now it's just a routine. It's just automatic, and I'm so glad that it is, because it makes everything better. Everything. It's basically the Huberman protocol of getting sunlight, but also spiking your cortisol, and just the act of breathing from the book Breathe by James Nestor, the importance of that. So I guess that wraps up the last 3 weeks and the end of 2023. And tomorrow I'll be doing the absolutely full reflection on the whole year with this system. And it won't be a live stream, it will be a video that I'll produce on the day. So I'll be spending a lot of time with that. I'll try not to prepare too much for it and kind of freeform it, but man, I know it'll be good. So that wraps it up. This was the last weekly reflection of the year of 2023. And I cannot wait to see what the reflections will be like in 2024. And the contrast, because I'm definitely going to be looking back to this episode and being like, who the fuck is that guy? Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one.